Overthinking can have several negative impacts on your brain. Normally, in our life, what happens is when it comes to decision making, we struggle with that because we want to overthink everything, we want to think through everything, and that results in overthinking the situation at hand, and this actually impacts your brain. It affects both its structure and function of the brain. Here are some ways overthinking that can affect your brain. You need to be aware of those things. There are cognitive impacts, there are emotional and psychological effects, and we will get into details of them, as well as physical effects on the brain, the behavioral effects, and some of the coping strategies that how you could deal with this kind of situation. So first of all, it impacts your decision making. You might find yourself in the analysis paralysis condition. Overthinking can lead to difficulty in making decisions as the brain gets caught up in a loop of weighing options and potential outcomes, which can cause decision fatigue to your brain. Similarly, you can be in an indecisiveness situation. Constantly second guessing oneself can make even simple decisions feel overwhelming. So you will never get out of this condition where you have to make a decision and you are constantly thinking, but you are not able to make the decision. It also impacts your problem solving abilities. It makes it you have a decreased capability to solve the problems because you have the reduced creativity and cognitive overload. What I mean by that is you are excessively thinking, which overloads your brain with information, thus making it harder for your brain to process and solve problems effectively. And as I mentioned before, you also have the reduced creativity, and that is about the stress and the mental exhaustion that you gain from overthinking can hinder creative thinking and innovation. Now we move on to emotional and psychological effects of overthinking. Keeping yourself in a condition where you're thinking, you're indecisive, you're in analysis and paralysis, you are putting your cognitive overload on your brain. Emotional, so what happens is you get an increased stress and anxiety. And shortly I will discuss an example with you, like how does it fit in your context. Overthinking increases the production of cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol, remember, is a stress hormone which can lead to heightened anxiety and stress level. It also increases your worry cycle. What I mean by that is continuously worrying about something, as it can perpetuate a cycle of anxiety, making it harder to break free from negative thought patterns. And we see in our lives, usually when we come across making a decision, for example, if somebody wants to switch their job, they are constantly thinking, and they are not able to do it because they want to make the perfect decision, and for that they keep themselves busy in the analysis paralysis. They want to weigh all the options, and they keep overthinking, and this which leads them to anxiety, stress, and indecisiveness, the worriness cycles, and things like that. You could think of other examples. So for example, if I've seen some people who want to start their YouTube channel, but they are not able to do that because they are constantly thinking, oh, what will I produce? What content do I need to? Of course, you need to think about, you need to have a strategy for it, but you should not be thinking it for all the time. You should have a structured approach to think about, okay, what is the content that I'm gonna deliver, how I'm gonna deliver, and of course you need to, what type of content. You need to think through those questions, but you should have a rather structured approach which helps you to come up with the answers to those questions. Or another approach that you could take is to get out of this overthinking. I should have discussed this at later stage, but since it came up, so I will discuss it right here. Is that break down your situation, your decision making situation in which you have to make a decision, into some smaller components. Okay, for example, if you want to make a YouTube channel, you need to say, okay, I'm gonna make it. Now what do I need to do? I need to make content. Okay, what type of content, what equipment and devices do I need, what is the frequency that I will deliver the content, who is my audience, right? So those kind of things. And then if you tackle each of those questions in a sequence or independently, then you would be able to come up with the answers. But if you keep thinking the whole time about, I want to start my YouTube channel, but I'm not sure what should I do, what type of content, and you keep thinking, you end up never doing that, right? Or the same goes with the changing your job or making some other important decision in your life. Anyway, coming back to the impacts, so it also brings you, other than the cortisol and worry cycle, anxiety, stress, the mood disorders. You might get depressed, you might develop some negative thought patterns. Persistently overthinking, particularly about negative aspects of life or oneself, can contribute to the development of depressive symptoms. Overthinking often involves ruminating on negative thoughts, which can reinforce feelings of hopelessness and sadness. So you see how it impacts your overall functioning, your overall performance. Now we go look into the physical effects on the brain. Structural changes. Hippocampus shrinkage. Chronic stress from overthinking can lead to shrinkage of the hippocampus, a part of the brain associated with memory and learning. So it impacts your memory and learning part of the brain, which is called hippocampus, and it kind of shrinks that if you are constantly overthinking. Amygdala growth. Amygdala involved in emotional responses like fear and anxiety. So that's the function of our brain, the component of our brain. Amygdala can become overactive and grow in size, leading to heightened stress and responses. Also, you get some neurochemical imbalances. Overthinking can disrupt the balance of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are crucial for mood regulation and feelings of well-being. These are the neurotransmitters which regulate our mood and feelings of well-being, right? So they get affected, serotonin and dopamine, right? Also, an imbalance in these neurotransmitters can affect cognitive function and exacerbate anxiety and stress, which affects the glutamate and GABA. So behavioral effects you also get from constantly overthinking in a situation. You get sleep disturbances, you get avoidance behaviors. So for example, in sleep disturbances, insomnia, overthinking, especially at night, can lead to difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, resulting in insomnia. So now many of you have recognized what is the issue, why you are not getting into sleep quickly, right? Or it takes ages for you. What is the reason, or probably one of the main reasons behind that? So start working on that and you can see clear improvement. Also, your quality of your sleep gets impacted. Even if sleep is achieved, the quality may be poor, leading to fatigue during the day and reduced cognitive function. You also tend to prefer avoidance behaviors. What I mean by that is procrastination. The fear of making the wrong decision can lead to procrastination and avoidance of tasks. So you never undertake those tasks because you think, oh, I might be wrong at this decision, so I better not do it than do it. Social withdrawal. Overthinking social interactions and fearing negative outcomes can cause social withdrawal and isolation. Now, as I mentioned briefly before, what are the coping strategies, how you can tackle that so that you don't stay in overthinking situation. First of all, mindfulness and meditation. Present moment focus on what you are doing right now. Practices like mindfulness and meditation can help bring attention to the present moment, reducing the tendency to overthink. How you can reduce the stress is these practices can lower stress levels and improve overall mental health. Try to work on reducing the stress through mindfulness and meditation. Another thing is like cognitive behavioral therapy, thought reframing. You can, through cognitive behavioral therapy, can take help to recognize and change negative thought pattern associated with overthinking. So start working on that. How can I reframe my thoughts so that I avoid the patterns which are taking me towards overthinking in the situations at hand. Also, you could leverage cognitive behavioral therapy to have strategies to manage stress and reduce the impact of overthinking on your daily life. Again, main thing is thought reframing. So if you continuously work on that, you will see the clear difference. Physical exercise, next one, is really important because if you do regular physical activity, it can help you to reduce your stress and anxiety, improve your mood, and promote better sleep. Of course, in addition to these, you need to be taking or making healthy lifestyle choices. Take balanced diet, have an adequate sleep, proper nutrition supports brain health and can reduce the effect of stress. Also, prioritizing good sleep hygiene can mitigate the cognitive and emotional impacts of overthinking. As you have seen, we have discussed like overthinking is a condition which can significantly affect your brain's cognitive, emotional, and physical health. It can lead to impaired decision making, increased stress, mood disorders, structural changes in the brain, and behavioral issues. Adopting these strategies such as mindfulness, therapy, physical activity, and healthy lifestyle choices can help mitigate these effects and improve overall well-being.